Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to the channel for more Destiny 2 news and intel. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing a whole bunch of topics as always, but this is also going to be a reminder that you have 24 hours to head on to the tower, log into Destiny 2, and pick up any of the items available from this past week before tomorrow's weekly reset. There are a few really good things that I think every player should want, especially solo players. So we'll cover all of that information, as well as all other information regarding Destiny 2, some upcoming events, and Bungie in general. So if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram. It'll be linked in the description box down below. And remember, any of those things will also give you an entry into the next giveaway. On this channel, we do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. And when we reach 100,000 subscribers on the channel, we'll be giving away a new console or a video card if you play on PC. You can also stick around till the end of the video for the secret hashtag you can leave in the comment section to be entered into the next giveaway a second time for this video. And remember, those secret hashtags, they stack between all videos, so if you haven't done this on a previous piece of content on this channel, you can always go back, check out another video, and of course, do it again. Or you can leave a comment down below on any of your thoughts on the topics of discussion in today's video. Always interested to hear what you think. That'll also give you another entry into the next giveaway, or anything I might mispronounce during the course of today's video. You can leave that in the comment section down below. That'll also give you another entry into the next giveaway. 801 had some interesting shaders. Remember, if you're interested in picking up any of them, they will be reset tomorrow. Over at XUR, who's also leaving tomorrow at the weekly reset, might want to consider picking up either one of these catalysts if you don't have them. We also had a couple of reasonably good exotics, maybe not the best rolls on them, but the Karnstein armlets with a 69 roll is a very good one if you don't have them. I don't know if they're the most meta at the moment, but we also had exotic ciphers and artifice armor available this week. Remember, you can pick up red borders from your rank rewards at XUR, so always worth ranking up XUR. Over on our Strange Gear offers page, we had a decent PvP Hawkmoon. We had the Suros regime, the weapon that unfortunately I don't think really has a place in the game anymore, but you can let me know in the comments section down below whether or not you've been using Skyburner's Oath. I think that it was sort of just nerfed into the ground, even though it doesn't have any range fall off. It doesn't really do the thing that I used to use it for, which was it would actually not only do extra damage to Cabal, which it still does, but it would actually be able to shoot through the, not the phalanx shields, but the big bubble shields, the actuator shields, and things like the Proving Grounds. Can't do that anymore. And then we have the go-to DPS weapon, the Thunderlord, which I'm sure most people have, but if you don't have it, certainly a great one to just have as a backup if you don't know what to do for DPS on any particular boss in a dungeon or a raid or even a GM Nightfall or a normal Nightfall. Nothing really stand out as far as legendary weapons went this week, but wanted to run you through them real quick if you didn't have a chance to pick any of them up. No real good legendary armor this week, so XUR kind of, I would say, B-level overall. The thing that I did want to discuss briefly, which I think every solo player would benefit from having, is over at Banshee 44. And it's only the second time, I believe, he's actually sold this, or one of these. So always worth checking Banshee 44 every Tuesday just to see what weapons he has brought. And occasionally you might get something like this. We have the Machado 45, which is an enhanceable weapon right out of the box. Now, I believe it's only been since the launch of this episode, or maybe the one previous to this, that we were actually able to acquire fully enhanced weapons from Banshee 44, or he would sell fully enhanceable weapons. There was sort of a rework to enhanced weapons, I think, in the last episode, where weapons were sort of retroactively given the enhanced perk if they became available in the future or would become enhanceable in the future. So basically, if a weapon that wasn't able to be enhanced became one that is able to be enhanced. All weapons that match that were also able to be enhanced. So you might have heard me talking in the last episode about maybe going through your vault and just seeing if any of the new versions of weapons had become retroactively enhanced and were sitting in your vault. Well, this is one of those. The Machado 45 with hatchlings is a great weapon to pick up. This is one of my go-to heavy machine guns. Hatchlings are an amazing perk on this particular machine gun. And like I said, it's only the second time I've seen a fully enhanceable weapon right out of the box sold from Banshee 44. So when they are available, I always recommend picking them up, especially if you don't have that particular weapon or an enhanced version of that weapon. We have some craftable weapons, of course. We have Path of Least Resistance, which has been here, I think, for like 3 weeks now. So if you're looking to craft that, that's also available. This Huscow with tracking module wasn't too bad. I believe it actually had a slightly better perk earlier in the week. So these perks do change. Earlier in the week, I think it was not Rangefinder. I'm trying to remember what the multiple explosion perk is, but a better roll earlier in the week, I should say. And then we have a Taipan 4FR, Firing Line, and Vice Singer. Even though this is not enhanceable or craftable, this is actually a really good fusion rifle. The Nezarac's Whisper is always worth checking out when there's a decent glaive like this. This one, I believe, can be crafted as well. But look to see if you have a Tempered Trust Haft available on any of these glaives when they do become available. And glaives are very good at the moment. They're good for PvE as well as PvP, surprisingly. So it might be worth checking out if you're looking to craft an Nezarac's Whisper. It's not one of the worst ones that you can craft. I would say this is actually on the better side of glaives. And then we have the Sonori FR5 with Surplus One for All, and that's not really anything to write home about. So pick up that craftable weapon, or that enhanceable weapon from Banshee 44. Especially if you don't have one. If you were curious, just if you don't believe me, this is the one that I actually have at the moment with Slice and Hatchling. So got lucky, I believe, when this was farmable. I can't remember what this was from, if it was Iron Banner. Let me know in the comments section down below what the initial source for this weapon was, because I actually can't remember right now, but this is my go-to god roll for PvE, though it's not bad in PvP either. Nothing really too great over at Commander Zavala and the Vanguard this week, unfortunately. We had the Shadow Price, but you know, if you're looking to pick up a Lotus Eater, you're going to have to wait a couple more weeks. I believe next week we will have double loot drops from the Nightfall, but it's going to be the Palindrome. Palindrome's not bad. I think this is the second time it's been available since the GMs were released, or the second time it's been available to farm this episode or in recent memory. I don't know if it's quite the PvP god weapon that it used to be, but still worth farming with double loot drops. I believe next week we are also going to have the first week where we'll actually have the Sunless Cell as the repeatable, farmable Nightfall. So that's the returning D1 strike. I got to play it on the GM difficulty when it was available in the GM node, but of course once I completed it, it was gone. So I'm very looking forward to actually farming out that strike, because I did find it quite fun, and it was one of my favorites in D1. I do think they should have made the whole strike completely dark like they used to have it, because the whole thing that made that strike difficult was that the boss fight was in a completely dark room. You could barely see anything other than sort of the middle of the room. They've obviously lightened it up a bit now, and they've added a whole other damage phase to it to sort of make up for the fact that it's no longer completely dark. But I actually really liked it when it was just completely dark. So you can let me know in the comments section down below whether or not you, if you had a chance to play it, prefer the old version or the new version. But still a good strike, I think, brought back overall. But I still kind of preferred the old version a little bit more. Some decent cosmetics available this week. I actually really liked this ship. We also had the Oathsworn ornament for the Wishender, one of fan favorites. Some fun other ships and sparrows as well. Down at Saint 14, we had a reasonable weapon available for Trials this weekend. If you haven't played Trials at all this weekend, the map was Dissidents. Not one of my favorite maps, I have to say. And this week didn't really, as a more PvE focused player, though I do play PvP, normal Crucible fairly often, at least a few times a week. Didn't really pull me to want to play Trials this weekend, but if you were playing Trials, or if you still wanted to maybe farm out some Trials with a Lighthouse passage in the next 24 hours, we have the Keen Thistle, which is actually very, very good for PvP. Very good PvP sniper available. As I said, the map is Dissidents, not one of my favorites. Now quickly, just to head around the directory, if you were looking to farm out a whole bunch of XP completely passively for weapons or just for your character, we do have the In the Deep mission available for the next 24 hours still. This is the only place that you can really farm out XP for weapons or for a character completely passively. It's the only place where we get repeatable enemies, Thrall in this case, very weak enemies, constantly and continuously for as long as you want. So you can stay at the end of this mission. Once you run the mission to the very end, there is a place where you get infinite Thrall, where you can just kill farm forever and ever and ever. You can stay there as long as you want. That's available on a 3-week rotation. This was one of those weeks, so if you're looking to do any of that, head into the In the Deep mission before tomorrow. If you'd like to know more about how to do that specific farm, I do have videos on it on the channel, and I'll make sure that one is linked somewhere, top right corner or at the end, or you can leave a comment down below and I'll just give you all the information you need. But it's a pretty easy farm to set up, though there is a little bit of preamble that you have to do. We also had the Pit of Heresy dungeon available this week, one of my favorite dungeons of all time, if not my favorite dungeon of all time. Let me know what your favorite dungeon of all time is in the comment section down below. That'll also give you another entry to the next giveaway for this video, as well as any questions about anything that I've mentioned so far. But also let me know if you believe that the Pit of Heresy needs an update. I think a lot of these dungeons might get updated when Rite of the Nine launches and we get the Pantheon version of dungeons, which, by the way, is May 6th. Another thing that I wanted to talk about briefly, but I do think this one needs an update, either with the armor it drops or something. But also, just remember that May 6th we will be seeing the Edge of Fate premiere, as well as the launch of Rite of the Nine. Rite of the Nine will include the new vendor, which will be the Emissary, as well as the new playlist, Heavy Metal, over in the Crucible. And we will also be getting 1,500 free currency to turn in at the Emissary for those new weapons. Those new reprised weapons will be getting sort of the rework of our weapons, because when the last episode launched, we actually had a glitch where a lot of the Dungeon Pantheon was included, and some people were actually able to jump into the Dungeon Pantheon and farm out some of those new weapons, the primordial weapons or the prototype weapons, which were just basically, they weren't loaded in, they weren't given any skins, they kind of just looked like these blocks, sort of looked like marathon weapons are going to intentionally look, if you ask me. But because of that, we are all going to get free currency. Those weapons are going to be removed from anybody who is able to acquire them, and we will be getting 1,500 of the currency that we will need to reacquire those weapons, but they will be going to all players because some people were able to take advantage of that glitch when the episode launched and farm out some of those weapons. So thank you for any of those people who were able to load in early and get some of them. Sundered Doctrine is still having some issues dropping its Exoitc, so I think they're Bungie is looking to see to a fix to this as quickly as possible, but there's a lot going on right now at the moment with not only the Edge of Fate being announced, Rite of the Nine coming on May 6th, as well as all the stuff for Marathon. And Marathon is going to be something I kind of talk about in the background of Destiny information, just because it is affecting, I'm sure, or having some effect on Destiny information and Bungie as a whole. It's definitely drawing some of their attention, even though it's a completely different team. And there's been a lot of animosity, I think, between people who believe that Bungie really just needs to stick with what they know, which is the Destiny community, the community that sort of nurtured them the past 10 years, and really kind of continue. I mean, if it wasn't for Destiny, would Bungie even really be around anymore? I don't know. And the new game, which I think people, at least Destiny players, have believed has taken a lot of focus off of the maintenance and the upkeep of Destiny to, I think, kind of make way for new stuff that they hope to do. But I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I do think that Marathon has drawn some focus, and at some point I'm sure they were thinking that, boy, everything's really squared away with Destiny. We don't really need to worry about pleasing that community that much anymore. We can focus on our new game. And then, Lightfall came out or something like that, and Lightfall was just so unpopular. I also believe that a lot of the aesthetic feel of Marathon and Lightfall, I think whoever was creating it at the time, they were certainly a blend, because they do kind of resemble each other. I had a comment on a previous video where somebody said that, and I'm like, yeah, I definitely feel like that was where Marathon was, the people over at Bungie were like, yeah, Marathon, we gotta, we're really going with this. Let's bring over some of the elements into Destiny and give people like test the waters a little bit. And it just did not go well. I don't know if that's because necessarily the Destiny player base was just not into that aesthetic, and who knows, maybe it actually had an effect on whether or not they thought, let's pull back a little bit of the look of Marathon, although it doesn't seem like they did because it's very stylized. I'm personally not a fan of the aesthetic, but it's really going to come down to how the gameplay is. And if anybody's out there playing the alpha, please let me know in the comments section down below. Maybe if you have an extra code, we'd really love to hear from you, because I would love to play the alpha, and I have not been sent a code to play the alpha. And so I really can't speak about how good or bad the game is yet, and I won't until I'm actually able to play it. I will say, from what I've seen, not a fan of the aesthetic, never really found myself to be interested in extraction shooters overall. But there is some new news regarding Marathon, that Bungie has finally pulled the NDAs from people who had access to the alpha to actually play it, so they will be able to talk about it more now. And I believe on it's coming up, I forget if it was May 3rd, I believe, people will actually be able to stream it. I don't even know if it's that late. It might be just coming in this next week. People will finally be able to stream on Twitch the access to the alpha. So I'll be gleaming a bit more from that, as I'm sure I will tune into a Twitch stream and certainly be watching more information of gameplay on YouTube. So I'm always interested to hear what people think about the two different games, whether or not the communities are, all kind of looking in the same direction at Bungie, or if it's going to be completely two different communities. Maybe Marathon will draw in a whole new player base, or if you're a Destiny player, you might try out Marathon. I'm very curious to see how it all plays out. It's going to be quite the summer, and certainly quite the fall of 2025. So just interested to hear your thoughts and some feedback. And that is going to be it for all the information in today's video. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful or informational or interesting. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, as I said before. You can also follow me on Instagram. It'll be linked in the description box down below. If you've watched to this point in the video, you can leave a hashtag #TheFinalShape, or hashtag Heresy, or a hashtag Trials of Osiris, or a hashtag XUR, or a hashtag Weekly Reset. or hashtag marathon, or hashtag Bungie. Any of those things in the comment section down below will give you another entry into the next giveaway for this video, as well as any comment or thoughts about any of the topics of discussion or anything I might have mispronounced. You can leave that in the comment section down below for another entry into the next giveaway. And once more, I am Wilhelm Scream. We'll see you after the weekly reset this week, maybe with a Sunless Cell tutorial. If you'd be interested in that, you can also let me know in the comments. And of course, we will see you next time.